Fiona deserved better. I have a lot of feelings for Fiona. She is this incredibly strong and powerful mage who has had the most cruel and horrible things happen to her, and yet she has endured, survived, and has been cast aside absolutely by everyone. She comes from a childhood of poverty, then sexual slavery and torture by the hands of her noble owner. Then she gets to the circle. Well, she thinks she's finally going to live a good life, but nope, it's the circle. Then she becomes a Grey Warden and she thinks she got away and she can now make a difference and be free and get to use her power for something. But they get involved into the events of the calling, and almost everyone she knows and has grown to care for dies. Her commander betrays her and everyone else. An ancient darkspawn emissary accelerates her taint and she comes a step from turning into a ghoul. And yes, she gets together with Marek and it's all at the wrong moment and in the wrong place, and she gets back to the warden afterwards and she gets kicked out because, whoops, she's not tainted anymore. And she has this baby she has just given birth to, Marek's baby, the king's son. And she just wants what's best for her son. She wants him to have a childhood that it is nothing like what she had. She wants a family for him, and a home, and freedom. The only two people that she can trust in the world reluctantly agree with her, Marek and Duncan. And they are not happy, but they respect her decision, and they realize she has the right to choose. And Fiona is right, after all. Because Kaelan is alive and well, and Marek doesn't need a natural son that would be threatened and will represent a threat on his own. It would be bad for the kid and it would rob him of a normal life. Hopefully a happy, long life. And that's all she wants for her son. But there are jealousy and suspicion and pettiness, and the boy gets sent to the Templars, and then ultimately Duncan comes back and recruits him to the Wardens. And in all this, Fiona is back in the circle again. And she rises in power and plays the game as much as she can, because there is no other way to survive, and the circle is a prison you can only coat in gold and glitter and pretend it's jewelry. She gets powerful. The low-born elf, former slave, former Grey Warden, alone and without support, she gets to the top of her cage and she gets to reign in hell. And then of course she rebels. How could she do any other thing when time comes? How could someone like Fiona not fight, not take control? When Alexius comes and sweeps that control from her, when she becomes indentured to a powerful noble once more into slavery, once more without control, that's when I have a really hard time believing it just happened like we're shown. A woman like Fiona would never have relinquished control to the Magister. She would have never sold herself and all her mage brothers and sisters to a slightly more subtle form of slavery. Desperation can do a lot, but I find it hard to believe that the mage who came out of the deep roads, out of the taint, out of so many desperate situations, out of a life that gave her so many ultimatums, would simply give up, bow and accept a deal like the one Alexius offered. After all, the man had the means to bend time itself to manipulate the outcome of that situation. I find it likely that he used some other trick to assure the alliance with the mages went smoothly and exactly as he needed. If Alistair is king, you get his cameo, and it is a horrible thing to see him, rightfully wrathful, banish his mother away from Redcliffe. It doesn't know, of course, and she doesn't want him to know. If Alistair is not king, it is almost worse. Marek is lost, Kaelan is dead, and her son is a Grey Warden, or dead. And if Alistair is a warden, then all she had hoped for him, a life of happiness and freedom, is gone. You can have a moment in the game when potentially 3 generations are together at Skyhold. Fiona, Alistair, Kieran. Mother, son and grandson. And they don't know. Fiona knows Alistair is her son, but he doesn't know his mother is even alive and who she really is. Alistair knows Kieran is his son, but the boy doesn't. Fiona doesn't know she has a grandson. Kieran doesn't know he has even a family beyond his mother. And the thing that kills me is that they would all potentially love each other so easily and so much. They could be happy. They simply never will. Oh, no biggie, kid. Your family has an elven goddess in it, and the blood of dragons, and yeah, the only Grey Warden to ever overcome the Taint. And yep, potentially the king, and obviously a badass shape-shifting witch of the wilds. Oh yeah. And you have an old god soul. It is messed up. And it could be even more messed up if you take on account the theory involving Flemeth and Merrick, but I'm not opening that can of worms. But it has the potential for one big loving mess. And yet, it doesn't happen. There is no scenario where they get to know each other. Mother, son, grandson. There is no scenario where they get to live a happy, normal life. And there is no scenario where Fiona gets to finally have some peace, some freedom, some truth. And she could be the key to finding a cure to the Taint, after all. But the hero never gets to contact her, and it will probably never happen since she is dead in one of the game's possible outcomes. She is one of those quantum characters. Marek is lost. Duncan is dead. She is not a warden anymore. The mage rebellion is done, and no one has really won. And her own son doesn't know she exists. The circles are gone, and even if they get reformed, she will never want to have anything to do with them again. What is left of the wardens is soon crumbling down. Adamant is around the corner, and Fiona knows all too well what the power of the calling, fake or real, can do. She had a horrible luck all her life. She has lost absolutely everything, and the best outcome she can get, if you make the choices that get her out alive, is that she will be alone, unknown, and treated like crap by almost everyone. And so yeah, Fiona deserved better.